Hey guys, Weston Bouchér here. I hope you're all doing well. So I've had a lot of requests for an update on my TRT journey since starting over 1 year, 9 months ago. I'm now 43, so it was after discovering my testosterone levels were at an unhealthy level of 500. So if you watch my past videos on TRT, you know that I work directly with a hormone and wellness doctor who monitors my blood work and progress every quarter. That being said, I wanted to share my current testosterone and overall hormone levels with you guys, as well as how I'm feeling, in terms of side effects, pros and cons, what I'm currently taking, and my overall thoughts on TRT this far in. So as I've always said, I'm not an expert and I'm only here relaying my experience thus far and learning more along the way. Okay, so let's get started with my blood work results. So even though I have pages and pages of blood work, I'm not going to bore you with all that. I just wanted to mention things that are the most relevant because there was nothing else that stood out that was outside the margin of what is considered healthy. So I'll always keep you guys posted about that. But I would recommend doing a micronutrient panel as well, because that's going to tell you if you're low on certain minerals or vitamins. Vitamin D is a huge one, so highly recommend that. All right, let's talk blood work. This is my most recent blood work results. These are going to be a roadmap for every decision you need to make between you and your doctor. And when I say doctor, I'm saying you need to work with someone who is a hormone specialist, okay? Don't just try to figure this out on your own or go with one of those, pop-up businesses that you see all over social media that are talking about how you can get tests shipped to you. Believe me, you don't want to go that route. Even me working with a doctor for over 1 year and 9 months, it's taken this long to really get it dialed in. It's not that easy. It's obviously a science. Okay, so I have a plethora of panels because my doctor is super thorough and I love that. There's certain things where, your thyroid and your prostate panel, your liver and kidney function panel, complete blood count. Some of that stuff is very relevant to keep an eye on. So you want to do your blood work quarterly. So I would push for these other panels if you can, because sometimes TRT can, depending on people going over dosage, maybe you may not know that, your red blood cell count could get too high, which can not be healthy for you. So I'm just going to cover my main hormones panel. I'm going to go straight to the total testosterone because I know that's what you guys probably want to know most, along with free testosterone. So I was previously at 1127, so 1,127, which is obviously really good for a 43-year-old. That was back in March. It was higher than I would like, honestly, and I'll tell you why, because of the side effects that come with that. So stick around for this video because I have a lot of big things to say and where I'm at about all this. 1 year and 9 months in. So total testosterone right now is 1,015. So pretty great spot, because a reference range for healthy is not healthy, but the low end is 200 up to 1,437. So it's a great spot, basically the equivalent of like being in my 20s, okay? Then my free testosterone is 17.42 right now. It was previously at 20.4. This is great. The low range is 4.09 to 37.37, okay? So that's the main stuff I wanted to pull out of my blood work, because we could spend 2 hours going through all this. But it's so key to have a doctor that will go through this stuff, whether it's on a Zoom call or whatever, verbatim, what does this do? What does that do? What does that do? How does that affect this? Because it'll help you to understand how important it is to get these levels all dialed in, or you could have serious health consequences if you're just going to be reckless with it. You cannot be reckless, okay? Promise me that TRT will be your last resort, guys, as I've talked about it in all my previous TRT videos, okay? I've been natural my whole life up until I started TRT 1 year and 9 months ago, and it's not like, it's not a fix-all. It does not fix everything. There's trade-offs, okay? Okay, before I get to the nitty-gritty of what exactly I take each week, you know that the most practical way to support my channel is to support my menswear line, Weston Bouchér. Fall is upon us, and I have some new releases coming that are amazing. And one of the most recent releases is my untucked tailored fit button-up that I have right here, and it just turned out amazing. It fits like a glove. It's just one of the nicest button-ups I've ever owned. I know I'm biased, but hey, I really go all in with my line. Please, guys, consider sizing up. If you want more room in the midsection, it is slim fit, but I think you're gonna love it. Use code YouTube15, that's just for you guys. And again, that's an amazing way to help me on my channel. As you know, I don't do a bunch of sponsored videos working with other brands and stuff, so it is legitimately how I make my living and how I provide for myself. So I appreciate you checking out at westonjohnboucher.com. If you want a quick recommend for just one fall outfit that's gonna work for everything all year long, try my Ripley cashmere and cotton sweater. It's very forgiving in terms of sizing. It's crazy comfy. The quality is amazing, and there's 2 colorways in it. And try my ultra soft tapered fit denim jeans. Pair those together and you'll have a great look. And then in addition, look for my Stylist raw neck tee that's coming out, and you can pair any of my tees with my Hemingway cardigan, which is an awesome piece that you can style with so many outfits all the way up and through fall, through winter, and early spring. It's a lightweight cardigan that just pairs really well. Okay, here's the list of compounds and supplements I'm on that I was on during the time of the blood draw and right now. So also, this doesn't mean it's a one size fits all, okay? We're all different. The biology is different for each person. You have to keep that in mind. So don't take this and just be like, I'm gonna do what Weston did. No, please. You have to go what your doctor recommends first and foremost, but please do get educated on it. As I said, I'm not an expert. I'm still learning every single day more and more. And so it's not something that you just copy paste, all right? You gotta be safe with this stuff. All right, so for synthetics, testosterone cypionate, 0.25 milliliter twice weekly. So Monday and Friday from a multi-use vial. I do that sub-Q. Now, from doing past TRT videos, I've heard a lot of super opinionated people that think there's only one way to go about this, but I will respectfully disagree from personal experience. I do sub-Q for test, and I do for HCG, I do intramuscular. Sometimes people do it the other way around. If you do more research, you'll find that there's a lot of hormone doctors who've had great success with their clients by doing the opposite. When you inject into the fat, you get a different disbursement time than when you do it in the muscle, and so sometimes that can just work better for certain people and situations. I'll leave it there. Okay, so in addition to the test, I take HCG, 1 milliliter twice weekly. That's Monday and Friday also, from a multi-use vial. I take it intramuscular, like I said. So doctors prescribe HCG to help address the symptoms of hypogonadism, such as low testosterone and infertility. That's when your balls shrink. HCG can help the body increase its production of testosterone and sperm, which can help reduce infertility, okay? Lastly, for the synthetics, I take progesterone, 100 milligram, 1 cap before bed daily. So progesterone helps to counteract the effects of estrogen on the male body. So not only is progesterone found in the males, but men rely on the alleged female hormone to preserve their masculinity. In fact, progesterone is a precursor to testosterone, the male sex hormone. Now, I will say, after being on the progesterone specifically by pill form for a very short time, my progesterone levels are already fairly high. So I'm gonna knock that dosage down. I'm gonna try and do that maybe every other night instead of every night, and just get that within that reference range where I want it. Okay, so now these are gonna be the naturopathic or supplements that I take that are all natural, all right? So I take DIM in topical and pill form, so it metabolizes excess estrogen. That's the point of that. Transdermal as well as a pill. Saw palmetto stack, I do ×2 dosage as a DHT blocker regarding hair loss, prostate health, and then pumpkin seed oil, another DHT blocker to help with hair loss and prostate health. Okay, if you're liking this video, you're liking the information I'm putting out there and just sharing my experience, please do like and share this video. All right, so I'm gonna get into pros and cons now, all right? So, depression, non-existent. It's like it just went away as soon as my dosages were dialed in very early on when I started TRT. So if you're someone who has dealt with that most of your life, I'm not saying that's a guarantee, but that's just what happened for me. And it's a pretty amazing bonus to just not have any depressive thoughts, just wake up and not have anxiety of any way. it's very interesting how much your hormones can affect your overall, you know, mental state. So in addition, I get better sleep now, increased muscle mass and retention, meaning I am not losing muscle as quickly as I normally would. And then muscle recovery after workouts, I'm noticing that I just recover faster. And just overall like sturdiness, like the durability of my body and my joints, I just feel solid, right? And then lastly, I would say increased libido, so which is always nice. I mean, that's usually a surefire sign of maybe some testosterone issues being low, is the low libido. That's definitely an indicator right off the bat. Now, don't just think that you can't fix it naturally, because you might be going through a ton of stress, all right? Those type of things can affect that. And I'm gonna get into that. Stick around, trust me, for the final thoughts of this video, because you're gonna be pretty surprised what I have to say. All right, let's get into the cons. Dun, dun, dun. It's not all pretty, like I said, there's trade-offs. So the number of injections I have to do each week, you know, which is 4 right now. It's just a lot, you know? Like if you've been natural your whole life like me, and you've tried to just stay away from synthetics in every way possible, to feel like you're relying on them and then have to inject yourself with multiple needles each week, it's just not fun. Even as I'm conditioned for it, I can do it in under 5 minutes, not a huge deal, but it's just the way I look at it. I don't like having to do that, but it is what it is, and I'll talk about more of that in my final thoughts. You know, the number of supplements to counter the side effects, like obviously the pills I mentioned. I mean, they're herbal, which is great. But then, you know, also the HCG, that's another type of hormone related thing that I'm taking to kind of counteract having, you know, so your balls don't shrink, basically, among other things that it can help with. But the biggest side effect that I think I've noticed is my hairline thinning, like especially right here. Now, you guys might look at me right now and be like, dude, you have a full thick head of hair for 43. Yes, I do have, I'm blessed to have great hair, but I'm telling you, it is not as thick, it's not as manageable now, and right here, like it's thinner than it looks. Like you probably just can't see on the video, but I'm telling you, it's different, and I notice it. And when you had really great hair, it's like super terrifying for that to happen, because it just, you know, obviously it ages you, and I don't want to have to, you know, shave my head someday. I don't think it's going to get to that point, honestly. It is really leveled out. And the reason why this took place was because my levels were too high, and that converts to testosterone, that converts to DHT. And so the DHT is what causes that premature hair loss. Now, it doesn't mean that my hair isn't going to get thick again. It's just that I had a spike, right? And there's an effect of that with that DHT. So that's why I take those herbal supplements to be a DHT blocker, to help with that, okay, if that makes sense. So another side effect is I'm less in touch with my emotions. I mean, like, I'm less sensitive to others' emotions. You know, it's like I just don't, I don't know, I'm not as like gushy like as I was, or like if I listen to music, like it doesn't, it still hits me, but it's not the same way. And I think that ties in a little bit with that depressive nature that I had. Some of that's good and bad. You know, with my fiance Katie, like she can tell that I'm just like, I'm more just direct. And it's not like I have roid rage. I'm telling you, the TRT level that I take is insanely low. So anyone who's like, thinks TRT is the same as like being a bodybuilder like Arnold or something, it's not even in the same ballpark, okay? This is to get to normal levels. But even keep in mind, when you're in your 20s, like you're a little bit like, you could feel those hormones, right? Like in this regard. So another thing, that side effect, is water weight. Like I haven't been able to kind of get kind of my love handle areas just super tight like I used to, even when I dial in diet. That's kind of annoying, but that was related to my estrogen levels being high. So now that I'm getting those back down, I'm noticing that water weight starting to come off, okay? Overall, another side effect that I don't like is my body composition is dense. It's like my clothes don't fit as well as they did before. Like my upper thighs are just like big feeling. My back's bigger, shoulders, arms. So it's like, you know, I would float around 195 to 200 pounds typically. And, you know, over the course of the last year, I was floating around 210 more often, okay? So just like super solid, but it's like, it's not optimal, okay? It's not like for, like I said, just to be proportioned and everything, to be able to do things like when I play beach volleyball. I don't wanna be like Hulk level, you know? It's just not my thing, and I also don't think I looked as good as like when I did my men's health cover and how I looked kind of before I started a lot of the TRT stuff. So that's a side effect. Another thing is it's expensive if you're paying out of pocket. I'm paying out of pocket quite a bit because my primary is just kind of uninformed about TRT and is just not caught up to speed, to be honest. A lot of primaries just kind of stay in their lane and they're not specialists, okay? I'll just leave it there. It can be around 400 to 500 USD a month if you consider all the compounds. The HCG can be really expensive for some reason, that particular one. The test isn't so bad, and if you get the multi-use vials, they last quite a while. And then the supplements, the blood work, the doctor televisits, it just kind of all adds up. Okay, so some changes moving forward is I'm gonna half the injection and dose amount of the test specifically to 0.25 one time a week, just on Mondays. I'm gonna try to get those DHT levels down even more and see if I can do that without really feeling too much effect of less testosterone, because it'll still probably be relatively high if I'm already at 1,000 right now. And this will also increase my fertility, and I'll try to rely less on the test and cut down on injections slightly. The other thing is gonna be doubling my HCG intake, okay? So I would be going from the 1 milliliter to the 2 milliliter twice a week. So I'd be at 4 milliliters for the whole week. You can go up to 6, I believe, according to my doctor, but that should in turn help to promote my testosterone production in general, even though I'm tapering off the test. Now, this is just in theory. I'm not saying this is science. It is borderline bro science when I'm talking about it. My doctor did say we can try that because he knows how much I just don't want to be on test in general, and we're gonna see if the HCG can be supportive enough and that my body can still produce enough testosterone with less test, and we'll see. I don't know, I'll keep you guys posted, all right? I'm trying to be humble about this. I don't know everything, so just, take it easy in the comments. So yeah, I'm gonna double the HCG, see if it'll increase the testosterone without the heavy dependence on the external therapy is what I'm saying. All right, so let's get to how I'm feeling and my final thoughts. At this point, the aforementioned side effects and things like that, the stuff that I have issues with, a lot of that, well, I'll get into what it is, but I just have mixed feelings about TRT at this stage. There's a lot of pros, obviously, but it's my own fault, as I think that when I came to the decision to start it, I was in a vulnerable state mentally, emotionally. I wanted it to kind of be my hope and savior for what I was dealing with. Although I felt that I had exhausted all natural options to increase my testosterone at that phase, I still kind of wish for my own peace of mind that I would have waited a little bit longer. I kind of downplayed the outside factors like stress, not working out in a normal gym scenario due to schmovid, the mental effects of lockdowns, dealing with a couple of significant injuries, etc. I was, keeping my diet on point with enough healthy fats. I wasn't in a caloric deficit. I was working out in the home gym I set up, supplementing, getting good sleep, and taking natural herbal test boosters. But keep in mind that should have been more than enough to keep my test at the strong levels it used to be at, in my opinion. So, which was around, I think, 800 plus at one point, before I got down to that 500 level when I started TRT. So it's still exceptional in a male for the late 30s, early 40s. So all in all, in many ways, better off since TRT, but it doesn't come without sacrifice and trade-offs. It just bothers my own ego because I've gone my whole life, like I said, faithfully believing in a natural approach to health without the emphasis on synthetics or pharmaceuticals. So it may very well be that even if I had waited longer, that I would have just come to find that my test is going to be, remain low and continue to decline simply by way of age. As low test in men is an epidemic right now in terms of it being premature statistically. Potentially all of the chemicals in the food and the products we all use, microplastics, water, who knows for certain, okay? Okay, so my final thoughts would be to take my story into consideration and make TRT your absolute last resort. Find a good hormone specialist, do your full hormone panel blood work quarterly, along with other panels to check blood cell count and micronutrient ranges, like I said. Don't go with these TRT companies, like I said, showing up everywhere suddenly on social media ads. Get a dedicated naturopathic doctor you can build a relationship with, who will try all natural methods first and then move to TRT if it's necessary. Now, when I say if it's necessary, that's where I thought I was at, because it was at 500. It had never been that low. I could not put on lean muscle mass. My muscles were soft. Like I said, I felt like I had all the other things dialed in, but there's just this little part of me that just wishes I had peace of mind. I just waited a little bit longer, because again, I really wanted it to just fill the gap for that area of my life where I felt like I was still working so hard to get my body where it should be, and it just wasn't responding, and that freaked me out. But again, it's not like I feel like I made the wrong decision. I just feel like being on the other side of it, I want to relay that to you guys so that you can have that peace of mind before you take this big of a leap. I just think that it's a really important thing to do, because you can't just work backwards and just hope that your body is going to just produce tests naturally. Like it's possible, but it's just statistically it's very challenging from that point. So again, I'm learning as I go. You know, bear with me, guys. I'm just trying to again tell you about my journey. Again, please talk to a doctor. I did put on my previous video, I think, my doctor's information. He's been getting overwhelmed, so I'm not going to plug him right now, but if you want to look up that video, if you really want to see, if you're in California. He can only work with people in California, though, just by law. And that's about it, guys. So let me know your thoughts. Leave some comments. I can't get to everything. I'm just super busy. Honestly, my menswear line is just such a monster. I try to get to comments, but it's just hard for me. So I know it seems like I might post and ghost, but it's not because I don't love you guys. I do. I just have so much going on, just trying to make this brand happen. And there's been massive growth each year, which is awesome. So thank you guys for all that support. And please do use code YouTube15 at checkout when you check out my line. I'm not just some random influencer model guy just popping up some random brand. I'm putting everything into this brand, all my life savings. I am making it the best it can be, because I'm making clothes for myself, and my standards are super high after modeling for 10 years and wearing everything. So trust me, you're gonna love it if you like classic styles with modern fits and really awesome materials. So that is that, guys. Again, I hope you're all doing really well, and I'll see you next time.